I would like everybody to look at the position in front of them and tell me what is wrong with it. Maybe you noticed the king and the queen are switched. That brings us to the topic of today's video. Have you ever seen the Magnus Troll Gambit, Troll Opening? It's when he basically switches the order of his king and queen and then proceeds to beat a grandmaster. Well, today I'm going to show you a game where I did that against a 3001. I also crossed a rating of 2700 on chess.com for the first time ever. So that's an accolade to me. So I'm going to show you the game against the 3000 and I'm going to show you the game that made me cross 2700. And this is going to be a good week. I'm planning a big video on how to study chess, how to improve at chess over time. So like how to study openings, middle games, different tools you could use. Because a lot of people are like, oh, just buy ChessBase. Well, first of all, ChessBase isn't exactly the most user-friendly server for improving at chess. And it's also like $400. I mean, who's going to spend $400? Like, I don't even get ChessBase because I'm like, I'm not going to be the best chess player in the world, like, ever. Well, why would I do that? There's so many tools out there that you don't need to pay for that are way better. So I'm going to make a video on that. And let's get into the video. So you might be like, how did you get into this position? Well, sometimes it just happens. By the way, this guy, he's a good chess player. As you can see, 3000. I've been beating a lot of people, and not just in bullet. I've been beating 3000s in blitz. Thank you very much. This just so happens to be a bullet game. But it's so crazy because I go on these people's accounts, and I'm like, I always check who's the best player they've beaten. And a lot of them, it's like Magnus, Hikaru, Fabiano, Narditsky. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm beating people who have beaten people that are not exactly people when it comes to chess. That's insane to me. And I'm done bragging. I'm not trying to brag. It's more so I'm just like, it blows my mind is really what it does. It just blows my mind. But let's get into the game. This is not such a great game. The game where I crossed 2700 is a great game. It's going to teach you how to crush the Sicilian. And now I'm just going to take a break from playing because I reached my goal of 2700. And I'm just going to study and get better. Because as you guys know, anyone who plays bullet, it's very addicting. And since I'm on a vent, we're going to vent one more. You bear with me, guys. One more vent. I promise. The reason I was like, I look at my rating graph in chess. Over time, it goes up, right? You look at more chess, you get better at chess, it goes up. Then this week, took a few days off, I was looking at my YouTube. I was like, a year ago, I was getting the same likes, or more views, same likes, less subs. I was like, obviously that means I'm doing something wrong, right? That's like playing chess every day for a year and going down in rating. That means you're not doing it right. So I will take any constructive criticism, any tips on the setup, the quality, because I want to make the videos better. I mean, I personally don't care about big viewership, but if the numbers aren't going up, that means it's kind of a science I've heard. So that means I'm doing it wrong. But it could be because of the things I say sometimes. Maybe it's just not so approved by the YouTube, but my opinions are not for sale. Will not be changing those. But if it's anything else, I'm down to change those to make the quality better. But yeah, opinion, not for sale. All right, let's get into the video. So this is the position. We got a king on e7. Makes it easy for black to develop. So I go queen e8. I'm like, I'm going to play the Magnus opening. I'm going to play the Magnus Troll Gambit. Queen e8, king d8. And now we have the setup where black is better, apparently. We get knight to d2, pawn takes, and he takes back this way. So you would think he's attacking on the king side. And that makes me very happy because my king is on the queen side. Are we calling this the queen side now, or are we calling this the king side? I don't know. What do you guys think? Pawn c5, getting aggressive. They say blow open the king, so that's what I'm doing. I'm really just going to breeze through this game. The next one I'm going to focus on. You guys have probably already clicked off because it was like a 5-minute intro, but that sucks for them. They're missing out. They're not leaving any tips and tricks. So we get knight to c6. All right, knight f3, takes, and b4. How do you respond to b4? This is where I went wrong. You really just need to bring the rook into the game, kind of like a manual castle. He was probably hoping I'd go king b7 and then pin me. Maybe that's how a 3000 thinks. I don't really know because I'm not 3000. but I've been beating them, but not with moves like this. Pawn to b5 is a bad move. Why is it a bad move? It's just a bad move because the knight takes d4 and your king is not great. It's not the best king I've ever seen, but he messes up because people mess up. And then rook to a6. I thought it was a clever rook lift. Queen a8, a4. He messes right back up. He just didn't want this pawn on d4. I was so ready to go knight c5, sack a knight, but it just didn't happen. It never happened. So how did he lose this? Well, he missed knight c5 for starters. The knight jumps in. Now we get this end game where I am better. Why am I better? Because my king is more active, and they say the king is a pretty good piece in the end game. That is an abysmal move. Do not do that. You should throw in a spite check and then just bring your rook into the game. But he pins me. Okay, I bring my king further in. I do have a passed a pawn. That is going to determine the result of this game. Look what tactic he falls into. 3,000 elo or 300 elo. Boom, check, pick up the rook, win the game. He actually gives a switch check. When I heard the check sound during the game, I was like, oh, what did I miss? But I was like, oh, wait, never mind. Now we'll get to the good game. We are officially 2,700 because of this game. Look at that. Doesn't that number just look pretty? It's like top 1,000 in the world, top 900 some. That's ridiculous. There's like 15 million people on chess.com, and the top 1,000 is pretty wild. And yeah, this is a weird video, but kind of just happy about it. So we get a French. This guy's name is, don't love the numbers he chose, but it's a Grand Prix. Bishop to b5. Now, bishop to d7. Why is bishop to d7 bad? Oh, it's bad because it blunders a pawn. Now, I made a video on the Grand Prix where they go knight to e7 and you play the move queen to e2. I love this move. Dubious, interesting, okay? But the point is, if a6 takes, you take, and they are pinned. So it's a lovely queen on e2. And if they push, you take, damaging their structure, and then you go knight to d1. So I love this knight on d1 to knight f2, d3, g4, b3, boom, bam, maybe throw in an a4. I've made I've made a lot of videos on the Grand Prix, so yeah, those are some ideas. But he goes d4, all right, we get the doubled pawns. Anytime you get the doubled pawns in the Grand Prix, it's beautiful. Super beautiful. Now, a lot of the time, this knight comes to a4 when the b pawn is not there because it's kind of like an outposted knight and you build up on c5. What was I feeling? This game, I was feeling knight b1. I like to switch it up a lot. The point of this knight is to jump into the hole on c4. So he goes bishop a6. You're supposed to go a5 before bishop a6, d3. And then I'm going to go b3 to shut down c4. Right? You go b3, and this bishop is forever garbage. Just trash. Just not good. Not good at the game. That bishop is. But he goes c4. Okay, the best move apparently. But I was like, oh, that's premature. He has to go queen check, and it seems to be a little bit okay, but he takes. Now you're just up a pawn, and then he just messes up. He castles. I take another pawn. He goes rook d6, but then you win the bishop. Gotta love bullet chess, right? A lot of it. Well, gotta hate bullet chess when you are one move from checkmating them and you flag. We've all been there. We've all been there. You didn't see that mistake, king to f3. No, I was still winning, but it made it worse because of bishop b7, so I wasted a move. That's why it's a mistake. But yeah, just getting all the pieces out. He has a few checks, but they're just checks. How do you win this? Trade the rooks. And then, of course, we won it respectfully. And by that, I mean super disrespectfully. And by disrespectfully, I mean this guy wasn't resigning. I was like, do you think I'm really going to fall into a stalemate? I mean, I've done it before, but 2,700? You think I'm going to not get to 27? And then he just resigned. I was going to make all the queens in the world. I was going to reset my position. You know, I would make 2 bishops, another rook, and yeah, I'd be able to reset my whole position. That's actually pretty awesome. I would have reset my position and then mated him. Trust me. So, a little bit of an odd video. We're going to have a video coming out, how to study. Leave any recommendations down below, I suppose. And yeah, thank you as always for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.